Hello everyone, welcome back. As you can see, I have Pokemon Go up on the screen here, and obviously, as the title of the video suggests, I have completed the Mew steps, and I did it a lot quicker than I'm sure a lot of people have, because I was really wanting to grind out the steps just so I can have Mew, because in 3 days now, it's getting very close, I'm going to be in a Mewtwo raid, which is my first EX raid, and obviously I'm going to be recording that and uploading it on YouTube. So I wanted to have Mew before then, so that way I could actually take on Mewtwo as Mew. I thought that would be funny. And I actually got really lucky, because Mew can learn 13 fast attacks and I think 27 charge attacks. So easily, he learns the most moves in the game, as you would imagine him being Mew and all that. So yeah, luckily I got Dark typing as my charge attack, and then I re-rolled twice with the fast TM so that I could get the secondary Dark attack. So now he has a fast Dark attack and then a charged Dark attack. So, needless to say, he's going to be a Mewtwo killer. But yeah, anyway, on the screen there, you'll just see all the Mew catching stuff and just all the ancillary data going through the Pokédex and all that. And while that's happening, I'll be telling you all the steps and quick ways on how to do them. Now, obviously, some of these I'm just going to fly right past because they're either extremely easy or you'll just immediately unlock them, depending on how high your level or your medals are. So for the first part, you have, every one of these has 3 except for the final 8th page, and for the first step, you have spin 5 PokeStops, catch 10 Pokemon, and transfer 5 Pokemon. Now this one, of course, is extremely easy. Don't really need to go into any details there. I'm sure everyone's already done that on the first step. So we'll just go ahead and skip right to step 2, which is earn 2 Candies walking with your buddy Pokemon, make 10 Great Throws, and hatch 3 eggs. Now, the first one you can make extremely easy by having something like a Magikarp, a Geodude, a Wailmer, anything that gives you a buddy candy after one step, or not one step, but after 1 kilometer is extremely easy. You just basically walk 2 kilometers, enough to hatch an egg, and then bam, there you go, that step's out of the way. And the 10 Great Throws, just don't even try to throw curve throws, because if you're not good at throwing any kind of ball anyway, you might as well just throw just a regular Great. So those are easy, just any, and you don't even have to catch them. It just says make 10 Great Throws. So even if they break out of the ball, as long as you hit the Great Throw, it still counts. So that one, not too hard to do. Just find a big Pokemon or even just a small Weedle and just kind of drop it on their head to get it inside the Great Reticule. And then hatch 3 eggs. If you don't have any special incubators, this one might be a little harder to do, just because you'll have to keep using the free one. But in the step before this, they do give you a free incubator. So you'll have at least 2 incubators that you can be running with. And I would recommend using both of them, so that way you can get those hatches done faster. So that stage is also pretty self-explanatory as well. And then we go on to the third stage, where they start heating up a little bit. Now, this is one of the ones that I was saying that you would unlock right away. You have the 3 steps here. You have reach trainer level 15, battle in 2 raids, and battle in a gym 2 times. So the first one, if you're already level 15, you'll unlock that immediately. Like, you just go ahead and accept the reward for that. Now, here's where the wording is going to help you out in the long run. Where it says battle in 2 raids, it literally just means battle in 2 raids. You don't have to win the raid, and you don't have to complete the raid. You basically just have to, let's say you find a Magikarp raid, just basically start a private lobby, and just run down the clock. And then once the timer runs out, then that'll be 1 completion. So if you don't want to sit there and blow raid passes all day, you can just do that in 1 raid. But you have to make sure the timer runs out. You can't just join the raid and then leave. That won't count. And then again, with the same wording, battle in a gym 2 times. Now, this one's a lot easier, so I would just recommend just, like, beating 2 Pokemon in a gym. That way you'll get gym progress, you'll get EXP, stuff like that. So I would just recommend doing the 2 wins. And then for that one, you get pretty good rewards. You get a fast TM, a charge TM, and 2 star pieces. So I would definitely recommend holding on to those for when you get Mew if you want to reroll. And then we move on down to step 4, which is earn the Kanto Silver Medal, evolve 20 Pokemon, and earn 5 candy walking with your buddy. So again, that first one, if you already have the Kanto Silver Medal, you just immediately unlock that. And that one is only 50 catches for the Kanto. You have to catch 50 unique Pokemon. So that one shouldn't be too hard. Most people will probably already have that at this point. So that one's pretty self-explanatory. The evolve 20 Pokemon, I would highly recommend using Pokemon like Pidgey, Caterpie, Sentryts, even Rattatas, because those only cost like 12 candies or 25 candies, depending on which one you're evolving. So they are very cheap to evolve, and they're pretty plentiful, just kind of hiding around everywhere. So that one you can unlock pretty quickly if you evolve with those Pokemon. And then again, for the 5 buddy candies, I would recommend using one of the 1K ones, like Geodude, Wailmer, Magikarp, something like that, just so you can get those candies a lot quicker. So yeah, that one's pretty easy. Now we move on to easily the hardest one, which is step 5, and I'm not exaggerating here. This one took me like 6 hours to complete. It's catch a Ditto, catch 10 Ghost-type Pokemon, and perform 20 Great Throws. Now, the 20 Great Throws are really easy. Much like before, just find Pokemon with the big reticules and just kind of throw Great Throws on them. I wouldn't recommend using Raspberries or trying to Curveball, because if they pop out, it's actually better for you. Because popping out, you still perform the Great Throw. So if they just keep popping out of the ball, then you basically just get a bunch of free Great Throws off one Pokemon. So that's not too bad. The catching the Ditto part, that could be a little annoying. I got very lucky because I caught 2 Dittos in like my first 6 Pokemon. And the Pokemon that can be Ditto, they've changed it a lot with the new generations. But you have like Pidgey, Weedle, Caterpie, Sentret, Magikarp, who are the other ones? Zigzagoon, Hoot. So those Pokemon there can all be Ditto, and even a couple more. Whismur can also be Ditto. I'm pretty sure Spinarak can be Ditto as well. There are a lot of guides online that'll show you how many Pokemon can be Ditto, but I'm pretty sure it's 11 different Pokemon. So yeah, any of those Pokemon, any of the Pidgeys, Magikarps, Zigzagoons, just throw balls at them, try to see if they'll be Ditto, and then that one you'll knock out of the way pretty quickly. The 10 Ghost types is the one that I had a huge problem with, because obviously at night they start spawning more frequently, which my brother and I went down to Disney Springs to try to find Ghost types. We didn't find any Ghost types on the first side, but there's a little side in the back called Saratoga Springs, where there's like a pool area that has PokeStops, and luckily those PokeStops were ghost nests, so we were able to walk in circles and just find a bunch of Shuppets everywhere, which is probably mostly what you're going to be running into, is going to be Shuppets and Sableyes. If you have the weather on your side, if it's foggy conditions, then Ghost types will spawn more frequently. Or if it's, I can't remember the other one, but the one that spawns dark types, Sableye is a dark ghost. So you'll have more Sableye spawns there, so that'll count towards it. And then, of course, if you have one for poison, like the poison Pokemon appear more frequently, you'll probably get more Ghastlies and Haunters. And then you can also do raids. You can do Sableye raids, you can do Gengar raids, and that's another way to get ghost types. But yeah, by far the most grinding was for that one. It took 6 hours in total, but a good 4 to 5 hour spree of just non-stop walking in circles just trying to get these Shuppets. But luckily, I was able to do that. And this one actually gives you some of the best rewards, too. You get the Premium Raid Pass, you get a Lucky Egg, and you get 15 Revives. The 15 Revives, not that great, but the Premium Raid Pass, that's 100 free gold. And the Lucky Egg, I think, is like 80 free gold. So yeah, this step it definitely gives you a lot of good value. And now we move on to what I thought would be annoying, but is actually probably one of the easiest. You have step 6, which is reach trainer level 25, evolve a Magikarp, and perform 10 raids. Now the Magikarp, I had already had 1,200 Magikarp candies at this point, so I just went ahead and evolved one of them into Gyarados. But if you don't have any Magikarp candies, this step will probably take you a long time. Because even with Pineapple Berries, you're still catching even if you break them down, that's like 7 candies per Magikarp. So, I mean, you're still looking at around, and it's not going to be like 100 because the Pineapps help you out there, but it's still going to be a lot. You're still looking at like 50 to 60 Magikarp catches in order to get that. So, yeah, this is why I would recommend just saving Magikarp candies anyway, just in case you ever run into like a shiny Magikarp and you want to make a red Gyarados. So that would be a little time consuming if you don't already have. And then for the final one, which I thought would be annoying, again, remember before I told you to pay attention to the wording. Perform 10 raids, again, doesn't mean you have to win 10 raids. It just means you have to perform 10 raids. So if you're in the raid, you basically just have to do what I said before. Try not to find a legendary raid just because the timers are longer. Because this one you'll probably have to spend 2 passes to get this one anyway, just because you don't have enough time to run out the clock for 1 pass. But basically just do the same thing. Just start a private lobby, run down the clock. It'll give you the 1 progress towards the step, and then just keep running down the clock. And then if you have to do another one, then just go ahead and do another raid. You can save up 2 raid passes, kind of, because the first raid pass you get, if you try to spin it again, you won't get another raid pass that day. But if you have one in your inventory and you go to the next day, when you spin that pass, if you spin the gym, you'll get another raid pass out of it. So technically you could hold 2 free raid passes. So I would recommend doing that before you go out and try to look for raids for this step. So yeah, that made that step a lot easier, knowing that I could just refresh the same raid. And now we move on to technically the final step, because page 8 is literally just catch Mew. So you have step 7 here, which is catch 50 Pokemon using a berry, earn a Kanto gold medal, and perform an excellent curve throw. Now, the excellent curve throw is going to be a little tricky, because if you have Pokemon like Ursaring or Wailmer, then the circle's a lot bigger, so it's easier to throw. But this one I just kind of got on accident. I was just throwing curveballs trying to hit it, but I wasn't having great aim, so I just kept throwing curveballs in the hope that I would hit an excellent. And you just have to do the excellent. You don't have to actually catch the Pokemon with it. And the Kanto Gold Medal is obviously self-explanatory. If you've already caught 100 Pokemon in the Kanto Pokédex, then you'll just unlock this immediately. If not, you'll have to get up to 100 Kanto Pokemon. So if you haven't already done that, this step might be a little difficult for you, but I've been playing since day one, so that one I just got immediately. And to catch 50 Pokemon using a berry, you don't actually have to catch them. It's much like the Great Throw or the Curve Throw, where you just have to hit them with the berry and then throw a ball at them. And even if they pop out, the berry will still count. So this one, you're going to have to stockpile a lot of berries, but I mean, it's really not that difficult. Just keep chucking those berries. Try to get the worst throw possible, like hit outside the circle with a regular Pokeball, so that way you can get more pop-outs, and that way you can throw more berries per Pokemon. And that's what I did to get him. And now for the final step, which is step 8. All it says is catch Mew. And you go into a little cutscene where you throw Pokeballs. He will pop out twice, so don't worry. Like, he has a 100% catch rate. You cannot leave that screen, I don't think, without catching him. I think even if you close your game out and open it back up, you'll still be able to go back into that catch phase, because it doesn't actually give you Pokeballs for it. It's literally just like an infinite supply of made-up Pokeballs, and you just keep throwing those until you catch them. So this phase, you're already done, essentially. You've already completed all the steps. Just go ahead and catch them. Hopefully you get a good IV on them, because you can only get one, and you can't break them down. You can't transfer them. Even if you unfavored him, you still get a message that says Mew is a mythical Pokemon, you cannot break him down. You can't transfer him at all. So yeah, he's very good. He's mostly a collector's item, because as far as combat goes, he's definitely not one of the strongest. But the fact that he can learn every single type means that he is basically the best counter in the game. So like right now, I have him with 2 Dark-type moves, which means that he's like the perfect Psychic counter. So if you wanted to do anything with him, you can give him 2 Bug moves, you can give him 2 Electric moves, you can give him 2 Psychic moves, so he'll get Stab. But yeah, he's a very versatile Pokemon. I think his max CP maxes out at 3,000, so even still, it's not like he's a very low CP Pokemon. It's just as far as most legendaries are concerned, like Mewtwo, Groudon, Rayquaza, Kyogre, all of those still have higher CP, but I mean, he can hold his own. I think they lowered his CP a little bit just because of the fact that he can be anything. So you can make him any counter you want, and he's pretty much just the best counter in the game right now. So yeah, that is the steps on how to get that. Hopefully it helps, and I will be back on Saturday because I am invited to an EX raid for the first time. So I will be doing that, and I'll be fighting him with my Mew. So that'll be a nice little encounter there. And of course I'll record that and I'll upload that to the channel. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on Saturday.